Good morning and Merry Christmas, everybody. In the Gospel of Mark, Jesus shows up already a full grown man, ready to be commissioned to action by being baptized in the Jordan River. In the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, we hear of stories of angel announcements and the extraordinary coming of God as a tiny, vulnerable baby when Jesus was born. But John goes back even further in time, back to the very beginning, not just of Jesus, but of the entire creation. In the beginning, he said, was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What came to be through him was life, and this life was the light of the human race, and the darkness has not overcome it. It is no accident that this passage sounds so very much like the opening verses of Genesis. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep. Then God said, "Let there be light," and then there was light. John wants us to make that connection. He deliberately sets out to evoke our memory of this creation story. Because the story of Jesus is not just the story of a man. The story of Jesus is not just the story of a family or even of a baby. But the story of Jesus is the story of God's loving act of creation. In and through the coming of Jesus, God is creating again something new, a new reality. The story of Jesus is a story as fundamental as darkness and light. It is as elemental as the turning of the planet away from the sun and then back again. In Jesus, a kind of light came into our world that can never be fully extinguished, the light of God's love. But the first title given to Jesus in John's Gospel is the Word. And when you hear the term word, immediately communication comes to mind. A word, a medium of communication. So that when Jesus Christ came to us, the Word, God establishes a way to communicate with us. And therefore, relationship between humanity and God became possible once more. In times past, the letter of Hebrews says, in many and various ways, God spoke to us through the patriarchs, the prophets, but now, in the fullness of time, God speaks to us through His Son, the Word made flesh, Jesus Christ. And so, what is the key? What should be our response? Our response must be that we need to listen to Him. If we continue to be deaf, if we continue to close our hearts and close our ears, how can we be recreated? How can we be restored? How can we become true children of God? And so, my friends, the prologue of John is the story of God, yes, but it is also a story that invites us to be part of it, to be part of God's story by accepting His light, by hearing His word, and acting on it. Amen.